All right, everybody, I am joined by back-to-back Pro Tour Top 8 competitor and #1 ranked player in the Player of the Year race, Javier Dominguez. Javier, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I cannot complain. I cannot complain. So you are playing Golgari Midrange today. Maybe not necessarily the most flashy deck we've ever seen. What made you want to play this here at the World Championship?
Well, honestly, it was like, I think I'm going to be able to play the deck well. Like other decks, I'm afraid I might make some mistakes. And, you know, Worlds is like the toughest tournament. It's the best players here. And I just thought, like, if I'm in a stress situation, like in the finals, semifinals, or whatever, I want a deck that maybe it's not the best, but it's the one that's best for me. I'm going to play it well, and I think that's being in a comfort zone was important for me in this tournament.
And you've always kind of liked those mid-range style decks,
I do.
right? That's
they are
your
my
bread
thing.
and butter?
Yeah, it definitely is.
So let's start by checking out some of the cards here. I would say one of the new cards and probably the most mid-range cards I think we have ever seen is Mosswood Dread Knight. Tell us about this one. This has to be my favorite card from the set.
Yeah, it's very cool to play with. It's like Scrappy Scrounger, remember that card? But for mid-range.
Yeah.
Well, what's aggressive, it was from mid-range, it's hard to kill.
But it can block.
Can block, can draw cards, can also attack. It's like a very mid-range card. It's been, you know, you describe it well, and definitely one of the big payoffs of being green. And one of the strongest cards in your set, and I mean, I'm putting a lot of hope in this small guy. You know.
And I mean, just the value, never really ending, constantly going back on that adventure, ends up being excellent. One of the other new cards here we have is Blossoming Tortoise. This card has a lot of synergies in the deck. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, for starters, it's good with the creature lands, like obviously like Cottage, which is a strong card as well, and Mitchell's Foundry. But the thing is, the bar for 4-drops in constructors is quite high.
Yeah.
But this is a card that you have to deal with sometimes, like most of the times, but it still leaves value in the battlefield. And I think that's very good. That's something like a card like Shieldred that might seem more powerful doesn't do.
Yeah, Shieldred definitely one of the most powerful card that we've seen this entire year. But if you just kill it, sure, you lost 2 life or whatever, no big deal. But you were saying some of the creature lands that it goes into, Mishra's Foundry is something we've seen, but Restless Cottage here has to be one of the best creature lands that we have seen in a very long time. Tell us a little bit about the applications of this one.
It gives you like this treetop village / half of the, you know, the land, background land, like the creature land. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like a big payoff because it's just a creature that's a threat by itself, also against alpha against creature decks, and it's just like mana fixing as well. Like it makes the mana better.
Yeah.
I think this deck might not exist if it was not for this creature land. Like,
Yeah.
just so good.
And the Tortoise making it cheaper, does that come up pretty often?
Not only cheaper, but also bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Attacks for 5 if you have 1.
You know, they add up very fast. Like,
Yeah.
you have 2 of these lands on a Tortoise, then like suddenly you're taking for 13 out of
Yeah.
1 card, and that's a lot.
And if you ever have like 1 Tortoise in play, 6 mana, you can play another one and then activate, something like that.
There's a lot of wild things happening with Tortoise sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So besides that, we have some other creatures that kind of fill off the curve here. You have some 1-ofs, you have some 2-ofs, but Glissa Sunslayer is one that has just been an incredible card. Maybe didn't really have a home, you know, in standard the last couple times. Like, is this just an auto include in every Golgari deck, or what do you like about this?
I think so. I mean, I think it was not played much because of Fable, the Mirror Breaker. We know that 3-drop was like very high
Yeah,
competition.
it's not quite Fable. But.
Yeah. But this is a creature that always wins the combat, or at least ties a combat.
Yeah.
And this is a creature that's hard to ignore, which means you play it and your opponent often has to work with it, and that's very good at protecting Shieldred, which is something this card does very well. So I think it's like a team player here.
Okay, okay. It's the glue that holds it together.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Speaking of another card that holds the deck together is something that we've seen for a very long time, and that's Graveyard Trespasser. Now, you got some strong opinions about this card, right?
Yeah, I think this is a card, like, it doesn't look very good. Like,
Yeah.
I always try to cut it from my decks, but the moment I cut it, and eventually I'm like, this deck is missing something, and I put it back. And this was good in the last standard deck,
Yeah.
Black Red Midrange, good in Pioneer also, like, just a good card that just, it's pretty much the glue of the deck in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. And graveyards are definitely relevant in this tournament, so being able to take care of some of those cards is definitely powerful.
Absolutely.
So the last thing I want to talk to you about, Javier, is kind of your removal sweep. You know, you have some cut downs, gigs commands, like a lot of 1-ofs and stuff. Do you just like 1-ofs, or is this a very calculated amount of removal spells?
I do like 1-offs a lot.
Okay.
I just think like 1-off sometimes let you spread your answers like very well, and you know, having access to these cards as a 1-off means your opponent sometimes cannot play around it.
Yeah.
But also like it's, you know, it's good to have access to them. Like sometimes you're gonna draw them, and then you can sculpt your game around that.
Okay.
And they cannot still not see it coming. So I like to have these like big cards, also these commands, which is an answer in a way, but also like a big bomb sometimes. I like to have access to those. Sometimes they don't go well, but you know.
Yeah, it's hard to play around a lot of one-ofs, that's for sure. Well, Javier, last time we did a deck tech, you top 8'd. I hope the same for you. Best of luck.
Thank you.